What's up, guys? Hope everyone's having a blessed day today. Thank you for clicking on today's video. I appreciate all of my loyal, long-time subscribers. We're going to be talking about something extremely controversial, as you can tell. Looks, money, status, and if you want to throw in game even, that is not the most important thing when it comes to attracting women. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to have a full understanding of why this is so, and why looks, money, status, and game, if you want to throw that in there, are simply a byproduct of this thing that we'll be talking about. Now, a lot of men don't understand what this thing is, but it controls every aspect of not only their dating life, but their professional, their business life, and their relationships with their family, and just their overall destiny in life. So now that that's out of the way, we're gonna talk about what this thing is. Drop the eraser, of course. All right, so in order to understand what this thing is, I'm going to draw out a metaphor for us so it's easy to understand. This is supposed to be an engine of a car, so just bear with me. I did not major in art, okay? And that's supposed to be a wheel. I know, it's not the best work. I'm sorry guys, but just bear with me, this will make sense. Okay, so here I'm gonna put looks, money, and status, and you could throw in game if you want to as well. So the looks, money, status, and game represent the wheel, the outside of the tire itself. The engine is your desire. All right? So what do I mean by your desire? This represents the passion inside of you for how badly you want to be an attractive, outgoing, charismatic individual and get what you want out of this life. In other words, it's your passion to attract more women. So that is your desire. I'll draw like a little flame to go with it. And I'm relating the desire to the fire in the engine that starts and keeps the car running to this part of the car, because it is the basis and the foundation for any of these other things to work. Okay, we'll get into that later. Just bear with me. Now, what does a desire look like? A desire looks like you're actively seeking knowledge to grow. You're constantly striving to have a growth mindset in personal self-development, self-improvement, and overall just becoming a better person and the best version of yourself you can be. That's where it starts. Where it doesn't start is a desire to please everyone. It's a selfish journey sometimes. Now, when I say selfish, I'm saying you're not always going to have the time to pour into everyone around you. It's going to have to be a focused, concentrated desire when you're on this journey to, just like you take a magnifying glass on a hot summer's day, concentrate that beam of sunlight into one area of focus, and then direct or concentrate, focus that source energy, your desire, what you want, into one thing. And if you're trying to please everyone, that's like tilting the magnifying glass and spreading out the concentration or the focus from the source, which is coming from within. So now that that's cleared up out of the way, it's a knowledge to grow. You have to have that in you. I don't think you would click on this video if you didn't have that desire within you already. but I just had to get that out of the way. So it's not a desire to please everyone. Concentration of your will. Okay? And then hooked up to the car's engine, or hooked up to your desire, in order for the desire to even make its appearance onto the screen of space in your life, we have, in terms of the car, the steering rod, or expectation. Okay? So you have this desire to grow, to become the best version of yourself, and to apply all of the things we talk about here on this channel. But in order to connect this desire from within and have it manifest or come outward in the screen of space in the real world, you have to expect for it to happen. Oftentimes you'll have guys that will say they have a desire to grow and to become the best version of themselves and to be more attractive to women, but when they go out and they socialize, they internally don't have the expectation that the women they're talking to or the people they're around are going to have a mutually beneficial, positive interaction directed towards your innermost or their innermost desires. A lot of times people will watch these videos, learn from these videos, get all the books, take the courses or whatever it is, and they won't have the expectation, the proper positive expectation that their desire can happen. So just to walk you back through all the steps that we've gone through already so it makes more sense, we start with the burning desire within our engine or our insides, our heart, the knowledge to grow that we want to express outwardly onto the screen of space through looks, money, status, and game. We're constantly trying to grow. That starts inward in our engine or our heart, to the heart of hearts, not actually the physical pump of our hearts. And then we have the expectation, we have to match the expectation of this desire being fulfilled. So these two have to be in alignment. It's like connecting the engine of the car to the rod. Then and only then will we see looks, money, and status game be a positive effect in the outward world. That is like the actual function of the tire spinning and rotating around. That's the only time that will work. So now that we understand the steps that it takes from the desire to having the expectation of that desire to then becoming our looks, money, status, and game in the physical world, what exactly encompasses the whole of this? What am I trying to say is more important than looks, money, status? It's this thing right here, your mind. Your mind is the most important thing when it comes to anything you do in your life, especially with socializing with other human beings and women in particular, because they have intuition, they can pick up on different things. We'll talk about that when we get into status and looks. That is the most important thing. And particularly if we go even deeper than that, it's the dominant state of your mind or your thoughts, where your thinking goes. Because if you have a scattered, negative, discouraged mind, you're gonna have a weak little engine. You're not gonna have a flame in here burning. It's gonna be like a little spark of a match, a baby match. That's not gonna have enough power to provide enough energy or expectation which will manifest into looks, money, status, and game in the real world for you. It's just not gonna happen. It all starts with your mind and your outlook on life. And unfortunately, most people say they want one thing, but in their mind, they want another thing, and they don't truly believe or expect their desire to happen. There is no connection there, and that has to be an expectation. Because if you walk around with an expectation of your desire, it'll show up in your looks, money, and your status. In terms of looks, the most attractive people tend to dress the best. They're organized, they're clean, they have some sense of style to them. Whereas on the other hand, someone that has a messed up mindset therefore a weak desire, low expectation, when they present themselves in the real world, they're going to be disheveled, scruffy, bummy looking, always just walking around in sweats. And listen guys, I like wearing sweats. I love to just lounge around sometimes. But if you're expecting to have a certain reaction or make your presence felt when you enter a room anywhere, you gotta focus on your looks. Your looks are quite literally like the outside of a restaurant. Like if you go to a restaurant and you drive by it without even going inside, but you see it's all disheveled, the sign is falling off, it's rusted at the bottom, the door looks like it's falling off the hinges, you're not gonna wanna go in that restaurant. And probably there's not going to be a lot of people checking out that restaurant in general, and you're going to see that, hey, no one's even paying attention to this restaurant, why would I go there? The next thing on the list, money, pretty self-explanatory. Rich people tend to usually have the best attitudes, especially at the top of an organization. You will see the happiest, most cheerful, generous people at the very top. Yes, I know there's assholes, but generally speaking, the nicest people do make their way to the top of any organization. And it's mainly due to the fact that they have a positive mental attitude. And even when they start at the very bottom of that business, because of their mental attitude and their willingness to just provide above and beyond service in a positive way year after year, they work their way up to the top. These people have their position because of their attitude, not the other way around. They don't have their attitude because of the position they're in. So that's a very important thing in terms of mindset and money. The most negative, you can probably think of it in your life, people that are just decrepit, just suck the energy and life out of the room, usually don't have a lot of money, okay? That's just a fact. Money runs from people like that, actually. The person that achieves great status usually has a positive mental attitude for the most part, okay? Not everyone's going to have like a positive mental attitude the whole time, but they're able to attract their position of status and the love and appreciation from others around them that have elevated them to that position of status in whatever field it is, because they're likable, because of their attitude they hold, which sparks a burning flame of desire in them, and they have an expectation they were going to be that person of status. They had the vision before it even happened. Okay, so these are all very important things to understand. Can you imagine driving a car down a street where the engine's misfiring, the rod is kind of halfway working, maybe like 30% of it's working and powering the wheel, and you try to sell this car to someone and it's just like, you're driving down the road, it's like barely moving down the road, shaking as you go down, but you're like, hey, I want you to buy this car for me for MSRP because it's such a great car. It's not gonna happen, guys. It's just not gonna happen. That's how women look at you if you unfortunately don't have the right mindset. And if your desire is weak and you don't have the expectation of looks, money, status, and game and achieving these things in your life. That's the real hard red pill truth. It all starts right here. So the moral of the story is mindset. Think positively about what you want to do with your life in these areas and expect them to happen. I can't stress that enough. I love you all. Hope this video blessed you.